Hey guys, if you've been waiting, I'm so sorry. It's 1 minute past 7:30. Taryn, you're a babe. Look at you in that sunlight, girl. Hey guys, so glad to see everyone. Okay. Let me make sure Tamara is on. Okay, you guys all have a pen and a paper. I think this is going to be really good. Okay, let me just make sure she's.
Yes, I'm here.
Is it working? It just froze for me. Is everybody good? It's working?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. Crazy time. Hey, everyone. I am so excited about this. This is one of my favorite things that we get to do. Tamara, if you're not muted, go ahead and mute yourself. Tamara, maybe that's just you. Maybe that's just doing that feedback. I don't know. But there are so many of you guys who are newish, who may not know Tamara. And so I'm really thankful and really excited that she is willing to spend a few minutes of her night during crazy coronavirus 2020 to come and just pour into this. This is going to just be like a super casual talking through some of the wins that we have seen happen over the past couple of months and celebrating them. I want to make sure that we remember to celebrate, because it's really easy to like hit a rank or get to like see a win and be like, oh yeah, okay, that's fun. Okay, what's the next thing? And like not celebrate that or recognize our team members, because we're just going. And I think it's so important for our mindset for us to focus on our wins and celebrate those. And then we're also going to talk through our struggles. So Tamara is on our Rising Jewels Accountability Group page. So she's seen some of the struggles as well. And hopefully she can just kind of pour into us, no pressure, but just like pour into us about maybe some tangible things that she would do or that she has done when she herself has faced those struggles. Because every single one of us, I guarantee you, have struggled with mindset. How do we message in an authentic way? How do I post in an authentic way? I need creativity, taking our blinders off and looking side by side. Every single one of us struggle with those things, including Tamara. And so I'm excited for her to be able to kind of pour into us with how she has dealt with those things or how she is currently dealing with those. So I'm seeing somebody, hang on one second. Jamie's saying something, hang on. Okay, yeah, take notes, perfect. And this is recorded too, so we can send this to our people who aren't in our accountability group. So Tam, do you want me to pass it on to you and you just kind of open it up?
Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, hey everybody. If I have not, I think I know several of you on here, but if I haven't met you, I look forward to that, hopefully at convention in just a few months. So the main reason I wanted to jump on is Emily, of course, as my level one, keeps me posted on the ins and outs of what's going on the team, what you guys are doing, the struggles you're having, the successes you're having. And so I just thought I'd love to just jump on and just be with y'all. I don't have any specific training in mind. I told Emily, I just want this to be laid back. If you have questions, if you want to share your wins, share your struggles, it's going to be like we're sitting around the table together and just talking. So I'm opening up to y'all. And for those of you who don't know me really well, I want to know you. I have done a couple of lives on the Rising Jewels page where I share my story, I share my testimony, how I got started in Plexus, how I almost quit Plexus, how difficult it was, the point where I went from silver to gold, and how I almost quit several times. So I'd love for you to go and watch that if you're like going, who is this Tamara girl? And then I answer a lot of questions too that the team had asked, just real tangible things about how to grow a business. So Emily, maybe after this call, we can bump that live up, and so anyone that wants to watch that, they can. But other than that, I'm so excited to be here with you guys. And like Emily said, I want to hear your wins. I want to hear your struggles, and then see if I can help guide you in any way that will be helpful to you. But I'm so proud of this group. You guys, you ladies, are the real deal, because you're doing the things that take discipline, that take commitment, that take grit, that take determination, that take knowing your why and not allowing any excuse to hinder you. IPA is, on a consistent basis, is not for the faint of heart. So first thing I want to say is I applaud you. Of course, I still do IPA, and I'm 6.5 years in, but I remember the first 2-3 years of my business when I was like in it nitty gritty. And of course, as your business grows, you get more freedom and more flexibility and how much time you have to spend working your business. I definitely work my business. Emily knows this, but it has changed a lot as my business has grown. And so I'm telling you all that to say that getting your hands dirty and being in the trenches now, it can and will pay off. And what time flexibility is, it's going to be different for everybody. Not everybody has the dream to be a diamond in Plexus. I have several people on my team who just say, Senior Ruby, they can quit their job and that's their goal. They really could care less to go beyond that. And so I say all that again to say that you don't have to look at me or look at Emily and think, okay, I've got to be a diamond in Plexus, or I have to be an almost sapphire in Plexus to meet like a goal. No, that's going to look different for everybody. And so I want you to ask yourself, like, what is time flexibility for me? What's financial flexibility for me? And I like the word flexibility more than freedom, because freedom almost to me sounds like you don't have to do anything, or there's no responsibility there. And flexibility is more like, you know what? I can choose to take off all day Sunday, not even open my phone, and spend time with just my family. That's flexibility. Or I can choose to not work at all when I'm on vacation, or not to work at all Monday through Wednesday and then hit it hard Thursday and Friday. That's flexibility. And I want that for each and every one of you. So I'm talking way too much. All that summarized, put yourself in the trenches now, get your hands dirty now, work hard now, and continue to do that until your business is really getting into momentum. And then some of that flexibility, you'll start seeing that. But it is hard work. And I have been there. The day in and day out of IPA. Sometimes we have to do the things that we need to do, even when we don't feel like it. And you guys, that is the definition of discipline. We have to be disciplined in this business and do things regardless of the emotion we have behind it. So, okay. That's my soapbox. Sorry I stayed too long on that. I'd love to open it up to any of y'all and just hear where you're at and see if I can be of help in some way.
So Tam, do you want us to just like kind of popcorn, some
popcorn's great.
Wins and focus on wins right now, and then do some, I think we'll spend most of our time in our struggles.
Whatever's on their heart. There's no rhyme or reason here. Just whatever's on your heart. Tell me. I'm going to scroll through here. I'm going to call on somebody if I don't hear anybody speak up. Taryn, you got something to say?
Yes, I do.
Right.
Yeah, so recently, Emily, this week, really had us focus on building relationships, which was awesome, and I really loved that. And I feel like with the daily IPA, it's kind of, sometimes it can feel like mundane and like a checklist, and then it doesn't feel like it's very authentic. So how do you find that balance of, like, this amount of work needs to be done, these IPAs need to be done, versus building the relationships and not just sending cold messages, but also the value in that and the quantity of reaching out to people. So is there kind of a happy balance, or does that look different for people, or how do you navigate that? Or when you get in a season where you feel like you're just checking the boxes to get the IPA sheet done, what is your suggestion there?
Yeah, so I am a big believer in quality over quantity. So I would rather you send 5 really good, genuine, heartfelt, belief-building messages a week than send 50 that you're just trying to crunch out and so that you can check a box. Because I have been in that spot where I have done that and I made a lot of mistakes. I even had a couple people, y'all, I'm so embarrassed because it was true. They actually said to me, did you just copy and paste that message to like a few people? I was like, no, but so just keeping it real here. And when this was early on in my business, probably the first year. And from that point on, I was like, I'm never doing that again. I'm not just cranking out the messages, as many cold messages as I can do. And I just hit pause and I thought, you know what? I'm going to build my influence with these people. I'm going to build relationship with these people. I'm going to slow down a bit and really be authentic in what I'm sharing with people. And here's another little tip for you. And Taryn, please speak up if I don't fully answer your question. But if you are going to send I don't like the word cold message, to be honest, and I'm guilty of using that. I was telling Emily the other day, I want to come up with a different way to say that. It's like a connection message or a reach out. So if you really are going to reach out to someone who has never expressed interest in Plexus, I encourage you to be so open about that, saying something like, listen, Sarah, I know that we have literally like never talked about Plexus before. We've been talking about your kids and your vacation, like whatever, in the past couple of years, but I have never come to you and shared these products with you. And I'll be honest, I'm super nervous to do that, but I can't help it. Like, I've got to tell you about what the triplex has done for me, or I've got to tell you about what Joyome is doing for my skin. Whatever it is, be authentic, be genuine in that. Don't try to build the relationship in the first 20 minutes of conversation and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, and because they automatically think she's just talking. She just talked to me for the past 20 minutes because she wanted to get to this. No, don't do that. Be super upfront about it. Emily, would you agree with that? Like, just being honest about why you're coming to them if there's
100%. And I think that that's a really hard question, Taryn. So good job. Like, I think that, and that's actually a question that I've talked with Tamara about a lot lately, because you have different leaders. I know this is Tamara saying, so I'm going to try to make it short, but you have different leaders who, so like Marian Anderson, for example, or a lot of people who do Instagram, they do not do reach outs. They don't, but they also are like unicorns because they have 55,000 Instagram followers. And so that's kind of their niche, or however you say it. They've got their thing. And so people are coming to them. But that's different. I don't have 55,000 Instagram followers. Nobody on here has 55,000 Instagram followers. And so I think that that is tough because you have certain leaders that say it's all about connection. You have to build connection. But then you also have really great leaders like Abby Kappa. She has an amazing video that I've shared with you guys many times about how to approach your dream teamers. And she says exactly what Tamara says. If you know somebody that you think would be amazing at it, you come out and you tell them immediately. Don't try to like cultivate a relationship, because in the end, they're going to feel like what Tamara said. Oh, this girl's been spending 20 minutes or 3 months just trying to be my friend. But really, she's just been trying to like prime me so she can talk about Plexus. I think that that's a tough call, because I do think engagement is so important, but I know all of you, myself included, are very aware of our time and our time boundaries. And so you want to make sure you're not spending all that time scrolling and just like commenting on people's things. You want to have fruit come. Fruit does come from engagement. So all that to say, that's a really good question. And I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer to that. But I do think when you have people that you really want to talk to about Plexus, you have to be honest with them about it.
Yeah. And I think you can go to an extreme in both ways. You can spend 6 months building a relationship and never mentioning Plexus, or you could cold message 50 people a week and come off super salesy and inauthentic. So I think it's a difficult question to answer, because it's going to be dependent on the relationships you already have, the influence you already have over this certain group of people, the influence you don't have over this certain group of people that you need to increase that influence. I do think connection is so important. In fact, when I've done IPA challenges in the past, a lot of times I have a whole day that's dedicated to like just connecting with people. Do not mention Plexus. Go talk to people. Share your heart. Like, ask yourself, who do I even want? Like, who do I want to be friends with? Like, I wanted to be friends with Emily. I thought she was so cool, like way cooler than I was. And so like, I wanted to get to know her. She shot me down when I first talked to her about Plexus. I sent her all this awesome packet. You guys have probably heard this before. Samples, brochures, like sweet card, all these things. And she threw it away. She thanked me, but she was a no. But it didn't stop me from continuing to build a relationship with her because I really just liked her and I wanted to be her friend. And so those people that you have like in your mind and in your heart, like continue to build friendships with them. And then when you do bring up Plexus, whether it's a weekend or you've known him for 3 years, but you hadn't talked to him in a while, just be honest. Just say, I've loved reconnecting with you, da 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 da. Okay, and I'm really nervous to say this, like for real. I have been like going back and forth about sharing this. Like, just be honest. If you really do feel nervous, then tell them that. Or if you don't, and you're like, okay, I did not want you to think that I was, messaging you for any other reason besides what I'm about to tell you. Like, be confident. Go with who you are. I don't know each and every one of you super well, so I can't tell you what's authentic for you, but you know what's authentic for you, and that is the most important thing. So I'm not sure, Taryn, if that answered your question. I will say this: if it didn't, please message me privately, and we can chat more back and forth about it.
You just got an invite. You take advantage of that, sister.
Call me. All right, who else? Liz, you have anything?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I always do. And I hope you tell me I can message you too. Okay, so I probably fell into that first thing, like just checking off the box on my IPA list. Like I was like, okay, this is what Hannah and Emily told me to do 5. They told me if I really want to run, I should do 20 a day. So I'm like, okay, check. I'm going to do 20. Well, I ran out of my Facebook friends. Mm-hmm. I went through my list. And so now I'm struggling with like, I'm trying to add into groups and do all this stuff, but I'm like, it was just so much easier before when it was so like streamlined. I just checked my 5 names off and then I'm done. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like in this transition in my business, I guess, that's like, yeah, everything's changing.
Yeah. So I would tell you, like, you still have a list. Just if you've already reached out to all the people on your list, that's okay. If you haven't gotten responses, or the response has been no, or the response has been yes, but they never have like ordered or signed up, you still have a list. Just because you've reached out to those people does not mean that that's it, right? So like follow up is probably, I would say follow up is like in my top 3 most important things in this business to be successful. And I do want to mention to you guys that I wouldn't be sitting here right now if I had not have cold message, because I would say at least 50% of my level 1s came from me reaching out to them and sharing with them about the products in the business. So just a little side note there. So Liz, I would revisit that list. Look at people that you need to follow up with. Look at people who ignored. And so you kind of need to go, okay, where can I engage them? Where can I build that connection again? Maybe they're close friends that didn't respond. Go back and just be their friend. So look at those names, and instead of like sending the cold message and that being your goal every day, send connection messages, send follow-up messages. And if you're feeling hesitant about how to follow up, like I'm pretty sure that Hannah is a pro with that, and Emily too. And so maybe running by them and saying, okay, here's this computer there. Here's this situation with this gal who never responded to me. What's a good way to go about that? Or here's the situation where this gal said she was so excited about ordering the triplex, and then I sent her a video and I never heard back. So just take a look at those messages and just spend some time thinking, like, what's a good way to either build this relationship, reconnect, follow up about something that they said a month ago they wanted to try or they wanted more information on, and treat that as your list instead of putting that pressure on yourself that it has to be someone new that you're reaching out to in IPA, because IPA, in my opinion, is connecting, even if you don't mention Plexus, and follow up, of course, and so on. Does that help at all?
Totally. Yeah. Super helpful. Thank you.
And I do think, I have a lot of people on my team who have got new ambassadors from groups, and that just takes a little more time from someone that you like don't have any relationship with. And the way that I have built in groups is by being engaging, and it comes easy if it's a topic I'm interested in, right? Like I get on these rampages with different things I get passionate about, like baking or cooking for my family, or right now I'm on like a stock market fix where I just love like reading about finance. I don't even know who I am right now, but I've gotten into it in the past few months. And I actually just had 2 people friend request me that I've been engaging with on these pages. And when another person who's not my friend, but they went and liked a couple of my pictures, I was like, oh, they're checking me out. So I've just been super active on those. And so your name starts to become familiar, whether you're asking questions or you're asking advice or you're posting something inspirational about the topic. When I was really involved in my cooking one, I would like post recipes and like not just the recipe, but my take on it. So I might say, okay, y'all, and I cut the sugar on this, and I added in bananas to help sweeten it, or whatever. But like just something of value, and that seems like so small, but when you're providing value to someone, or you're inspiring someone, or you're just responding to their questions, your name starts to get familiar, and people notice. I promise you, because I notice the people that are engaged. And again, it takes some time, but it's like a topic I'm interested in. So of course I don't want you to spend hours a day doing that. But if let's say you have 2 hours a day that you're working your Plexus business, maybe you give yourself 15 minutes. That's 15 minutes of time that you're engaging on that group. You're posting something that's, of value, or you're answering someone's question. And so you're starting to build connection and relationships there. And at some point, what I did was start friend requesting those people that I would find just some camaraderie in. Of course, not until I checked out their social media and made sure, they looked like they were okay. So don't waste your time. So I hope that's a little bit helpful. But yes, remember, like, go back to that list and see who you can continue to build rapport with and build influence with, and drop some nuggets on, like, oh my gosh, we just came out with this new college, and I remember like 2 years ago you told me that you were interested in college, and let me tell you about ours. So there's ways to like drip on people too, to help build their belief, and you never know when they're going to order or sign up. Y'all, I'm talking way too much. I'm so sorry.
Hey, would you say, because I feel like my network has started to grow a little bit as I've been sharing and selling things on social media, or on like Facebook Marketplace, or I've been buying things on Marketplace, because you're meeting new people. And I know that you've done that too, Tamara. Was that beneficial for you?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten a ton of people that way, but there was a time where I was doing a lot of selling on Marketplace. And when those people would come to pick up their things, if they seemed like someone that I could, connect with, and I don't mean this rudely, but if it was like, a 90-year-old man, which I don't think I ever had a 90-year-old man buy anything from me, but you get my drift. Like, I'm not going to spend time there. But anyone that I could find connection with, I would connect with. I would start talking to them. I'd be super friendly. And then I would like find another reason to message them about something we talked about or whatever. And then maybe I friend requested them. So again, I haven't done that a ton, but I have done it some, and I have gotten some customers from that, and some relationships that slowly built.
I have a question. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I started out really fast. I ran, and then I lost a lot of momentum with some personal stuff that came up. And I'm slowly redoing my business strategy, as far as I'm not just trying to get the ambassador, I'm really trying to qualify, and I'm really trying to make sure I'm helping. But I'm finding my motivation is very low to get going again. It's very hard once you stop to get back into it. And I've heard that through personal development. I've heard it. I'm experiencing it. So what do you do?
Yeah. So I call that the slow fade. And what I mean by that is, so let's say that you were really involved in your business, you were posting, you're watching trainings, you're involved in the team page, you're reaching out, whatever the case may be. And then you miss the accountability Zoom. No, I'll catch the next one. oh, Emily posted a really great training. I need to watch that. I don't know. I'm just busy. I'll catch it later. You never come back to it. To me, that's the slow fade. And that is when, Jamie, discipline, that's when it has to take its hold on you. Because there are going to be times, in fact, I promise there are going to be times that you don't feel like doing anything in regards to plexus. There are going to be times that you just don't have that motivation. And so I would ask you, hypothetically here, do you know your why? Do you have a strong why that is bigger than your lack of motivation? In other words, do you have something that is burning inside of you that you want this to work so bad and you want to be so successful, whatever success means for you, that any excuse you have, I'm too tired, I'm too busy, I'm not motivated, I don't want to, that why and that drive is stronger than any excuse that's going to come. Because here's the deal, guys. Very few people in this world are naturally motivated. Like there's those some people, you're like, they never stop. Like, I don't understand. Brooke Hemingway, there's an example. That girl is got her hands in like 1,500 different things. And I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that. Like, that's too much, right? But most people, they are not like an Energizer buddy. Most people, they have their emotional, mental limits. And so I would ask the thing about the why. Is your why bigger than any excuse that can go through your mind? And then also, I would ask, are you resting? Like, are you refueling yourself? Are you doing anything in your personal life that is refueling? Whether that's reading a book that's not personal development, taking a bath, and just like lighting candles and listening to music, or are you doing anything that's refueling you? Because when we are empty, it's so hard to give out, you guys. And that's not just with plexus, that's with our marriage, our kids. My husband can always tell when like I need a fuel up because my fuse starts getting so short. And so in your business, are you getting filled in some way so that you can then pour out? Because this business is a lot about pouring out, right? It's about people. And so, Jamie, if you want to pop on, do you think that has anything to do with your lack of motivation, that maybe you're just empty? Or do you think it's just truly like the slow fade where you've kind of gotten away from it, and so it's easy to get complacent and you just don't know how to get back in there? Or maybe both.
I think it's more I'm complacent because it's hard to remotivate. I'm just up and down,
So what would motivate you? Like what does motivate you? What gets you excited?
Well, money gets me excited, which is a sad thing to say, but
no, it's not.
No. Yeah, that gets me excited.
Okay,
pretty
so
much. That's one of the biggest parts of my why is to get debt free.
Okay, so let's say that I told you, if you do X, Y, and Z, I'll give you $500 next month. Like, would that motivate you? Yes. Okay. So what if, and I have no idea what you make a month. What if you set like a money making goal every month? Like on the first of the month, you said, okay, my paycheck last month, I'm just throwing out a number, was $200. I want to make $300 this month. Here's what I need to do in order to do that. Would that motivate you?
Yeah, I did a PD on setting tangible goals. So that mindset kind of gets in my way of, is that really a controllable? Like, what can I do to control it so I can do the controllables there?
Yeah.
But does that?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But I guess that would be like let's, if you wanted to make an extra $100, so you could go, okay, well that is, I need 3 new people with $99 welcome packs, and I've already meet my $100 extra for the month. Like having a money goal, like I want to increase my paycheck by this amount. Here's what I need to do that. Like having the numbers written out and literally putting that somewhere where you can see. That's what I used to do. And I would cross them out as I got them. And that was super motivating to me as well. And there's nothing wrong with money motivating you, because money has, opens up possibilities for your family, for ministry opportunities, for giving, for buying extra food for people that maybe didn't stock up. And I mean, money can be such a good thing. And so I don't want you to shame yourself for that. You're like, I know that sounds bad. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. But I want to know, like, how you can motivate yourself and drive yourself to go out and make that money. You said it's a huge part of your why. So I think doing what I suggested could be a good start. I think also, like, thinking, what is my big money goal? Like, are you saving for a vacation? Do you want to get out of credit card debt? And let that drive you, because those things can happen for you.
Can I interject for 1 second?
Yeah.
I'm driven not by money, but I mean, that's why I started the business. I started for the business. But even in that, when you're weary, you're tired, your belief is maybe shot. Even if I were to say, okay, I really want to make this kind of money, I really want to have X, Y, and Z. If you're in that place where you're just tired, for me, I had to go and rebuild my belief. And that is what fired me up again, was like, okay, the products do work. Because how many of us have had people that we've had really high hopes of give up because the products don't work, or because they were pooping 10 times a day, their butthole was bloody, they were like miserable. That's happened to me, not to me, but I've had that happen, one of my customers. And so you just sometimes think, what am I doing? What am I sharing here? And you need that belief to be rebuilt. And so what I would encourage you to do, or anyone who is in that place where you're just tired, get in touch with one of us and say, Lacey, I need to hear your story. Tell me your story about Eli, because I just am feeling a little burned out. Like, I don't want to hear the word plexus again. Tamara, tell me your story. Like, I don't care about your money story. Tell me about your health story. So that way it kind of like refires you up. Like, this is why I'm doing this. I have to believe in what I'm sharing about before I can go out and make these big goals. I have to believe in what I'm doing. And so that comes, if your belief is not there, that comes from other people in this team. And don't be shy to get in touch and ask somebody for their story, because that's a beautiful gift that we get to do for one another.
For sure. Everything she said, forget what I said. That's spot on, because a lot of times when we do feel tired or we do feel a lack of motivation, that can come from so many things, but a lack of belief, or just kind of a wavering belief, that can put that can paralyze you, honestly. So just for those of y'all that don't know, I'm going to tell you my story real quick. I was a chronic migraine sufferer, and I didn't start Plexus for migraines. I didn't know they could help with that. I wanted to lose my baby weight. I want to lose 20 pounds. And within 2 or 3 weeks, my husband pointed out to me that I had not had a migraine, because they were so frequent that even in like that short amount of time, he noticed that it hadn't happened. Because they used to put me in bed, like lights out, cold washcloth on my face. I had prescription medication that was always on me in case one hit, and they would knock me out for hours. And that changed my life. And sometimes I forget the amazingness of that. Is that a word? Because it's been so long since I've suffered from those. And so that's been huge. My sister-in-law was on probiotics for years. She decided to try ProBio 5 and BioCleanse to support me. And within a month, she came to me and she said, I have never experienced what I'm experiencing on this probiotic. And I've been doing this for years. It's not like it's just probiotics are new to me. Her allergies were getting better. She was no longer having gluten sensitivities. Unbelievable. I could go on and on about just people in my family that have had amazing success on these products. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Like, I have strong belief because I've been around for a long time, and I've gotten to see so many stories and testimonies of like real life change. And so, I mean, I get excited talking about it. Like, we can't have an amazing business without amazing products, you guys. Like, if our products didn't work for the masses, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't have a business, right? And so I think that's really good, Emily, like going back to like, do I need to build my belief? Do I need to hear some more stories? Because I'm just kind of feeling blah right now. Because let me tell you something, if you build your passion, you cannot be stopped. If you have a passion and a drive and you're excited about what you can offer people, you can't be stopped. And so that's so important. And passion comes from belief, and confidence in what you're sharing comes from belief.
Well, let's segue into mindset. Let's end with mindset. We only have 4 minutes left, but I know something that like every single one of us struggle with. Do you have maybe a book that you'd recommend, or something that you do or that you have done in the past when you have just really bad negative mindset because you've got naysayers or you've got whatever, or maybe podcasts? What have you done when you've had people who really hurt your belief and hurt your mindset?
So are we talking about like outer sources that are saying negative things, or
both? I think just fear of what other people would think, fear of not knowing enough, just in the mindset of this person can do it, but I really can't. I mean, like we all have crazy mindset that hold us back. So it could be from naysayers. It could be just from us.
Yeah.
So we got 3 minutes. Take it away.
I was just going to say, I don't know if I could talk about this in 3 minutes. Well, first I want to say, like, that's totally normal. Everybody goes through those thoughts. Like I told you at the beginning, I almost quit Plexus so many times. And what I always came back to when I would try to quit was that, well, number one, I didn't have a peace about it, but I just came back to like my fear is what's driving me to want to slow down, or my fear was paralyzing me, worrying too much about what people thought, or not believing in myself, like thinking that I'm going to fail. And I was more scared to fail than I was afraid to quit. And so that's what, hey baby, hold on just a second. Okay. Sorry, my 8-year-old just popped in here for a second. So I think just going back, and I already spoke to this a little bit, but going back to your why, you guys, that's so important, because that is going to guide you in so many ways. And I think sometimes we hear that, like the why, and it can sound cliche because we hear it a lot, like you have to have your why, but it really is like a foundation, or at least it was for me, and it was a driver for me. And so if you're having those thoughts of comparison, or I'm just scared I'm going to fail, maybe it'd be easier to quit. Why are you here? What are you passionate about? What drew you to Plexus in the beginning? What's your dream for your family a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? There is no like one answer to cure mindset. But one thing I always think about, oh gosh, I only have 2 minutes. One thing I always think about is like when you get a song stuck in your head, you know what I'm talking about, that drives you crazy. You don't even like the song. Like it just keeps going through your mind. How can I get rid of the song? You have to replace it. So if you have a negative thought that is just pounding you, guys, we all deal with them. I have them too. And if I had more time, I would share some of the things I struggle with in my mindset. But the only way that you can truly combat that is with truth. You have to replace it. And I don't have enough time to go into that more, but can we do this again? This isn't enough time. I want to do this with y'all again. Please, guys, before we get shut off here, if you have anything that you didn't get to share, or you want me to expand on something more, please message me. I may not get to it tonight, but I will get to it tomorrow, and I'm happy to chat back and forth with you. And I mean that. Don't hesitate to reach out. Okay.
Thank you, Tam. Everybody, just remember, when you're struggling with mindset, is what's going through your mind, is that truth? If you are a believer, you know what truth is. You know what God says about you. If you're not a believer, what is this truth? What's going through your mind? Let truth drive you. Let love drive you. And as we've been hearing lately, let your boldness be a blessing for others. If you don't have belief, come to those of us that do and ask for us to share our story so we can help you and lift you up. Love you guys. Thank you for being on here. Tamara, love you. Thank you for taking time out. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.